After tragically losing his family in an accident, Tai discovers the existence of spies and dedicates himself to becoming the strongest. The story unfolds with Tai, a young boy who has just suffered the devastating loss of his family in an accident involving the infamous truck kun. This heartbreaking event profoundly impacts him, making him acutely aware of life's fragility and instilling a deep fear that he could lose anyone dear to him at any moment. His childhood friend Musumi, who mourns alongside him, reassures him with unwavering support, promising she will never leave his side. As time passes, we find Tai in his classroom, where his classmates approach him with an invitation to join them for an outing. Despite their friendly overtures, Tai turns them down, much to their frustration. This isn't the first time he has rejected their invitations, leading them to wonder why he seems so unwilling to spend time with them. Misinterpreting his behavior, they assume he's just shy and decide to back off, giving him space. However, the truth is far more complex. While Tai genuinely appreciates their attempts to include him, he is still grappling with the overwhelming grief of losing his family. This lingering sorrow creates a barrier, making it difficult for him to engage in social interactions. As Tai navigates this challenging emotional landscape, he begins to understand the importance of strength and resilience, setting him on a path to train and prepare for the uncertainties of the world. Driven by a newfound awareness of life's unpredictability and the desire to protect those he holds dear. After they leave, Musumi approaches him and she gives him food, telling him he needs to eat well. Their classmates observe them, and we learn that they're jealous because they all like Musumi. She becomes worried about Tai because he's starting to develop antisocial behavior, saying he needs to talk to people. But he reminds her how she rejected their senior Tanaka, thinking he's a great person, so Tai wonders why she turned him down. But she tells Tai not to think about her, saying he needs to move on and talk to their classmates. She's about to feed him, but the vice principal, Harukawa, eats it instead, so she becomes upset, reminding him about his promise to stop snacking, but he explains that he just couldn't control himself. She knows that he's supposed to be on a business trip, but he explains that he changed his schedule because he missed eating her food. He likes the color of her hair, but she tells him to return to his office, and he tells Tai to meet him after class. But Tai wonders if he did something wrong, thinking Harukawa is a weirdo. After class, Tai enters Harukawa's office, puzzled by the unexpected summons. Harukawa reveals a collection of Musumi's pictures, explaining that he has been covertly watching her to protect her from suitors. He knows about Tanaka's recent advances and admits to torturing him to keep him away from Musumi. Tai quickly realizes that Harukawa is dangerously unhinged and finds himself threatened with death if he has any feelings for her. Stunned and fearing for his life, Tai listens as Harukawa claims Musumi is his sister and tells him not to take it personally. Suddenly, a girl bursts in, pressing a button that floods the room with light, allowing Tai to escape. He regains consciousness to find Musumi greeting him, relieved that he is okay, but he realizes he is surrounded by strangers. Panicked, he demands to know who they are, but Musumi calms him, introducing them as her siblings. She explains that the girl who saved him is Futaba, and her brother Shinzo, who has a fascination with firearms, is also present. Her other brother, Kengo, has a fondness for cats, while her sister Shion is tech-savvy. Additionally, Nano, another brother, enjoys conducting experiments, and they have a guard dog named Goliath. Musumi reveals that they're a family of spies, and Tai can't believe this, wondering if he's being pranked. He takes one of Shinzo's guns, thinking it's a toy, but he shoots it, realizing that it's real. They tell him that being a spy is just an ordinary job, and they're working as freelancers, but they appear to be struggling because the government spies are offering their services for a cheaper price. But Shion reveals that the family has the best reviews on the internet, and Kengo adds that their brother Ichiro is boosting their popularity because the ladies love him. Tai realizes that Kengo is talking about Harukawa, and Futaba explains that he's a flawed man, but he's the best spy in the family. Tai wonders why he's being targeted, so she reveals that they received an intel, which mentioned that someone wants to kill Musumi. After class, Tai enters Harukawa's office, wondering why he was summoned. Harukawa unveils a collection of Musumi's pictures, confessing that he has been secretly watching her from the shadows to protect her from suitors. He reveals that he knows about Tanaka's romantic advances and admits to torturing him to keep him away from Musumi. Realizing Harukawa's madness, Tai feels his life is in danger when Harukawa threatens to kill him if he harbors any feelings for Musumi. Stunned and terrified, Tai listens as Harukawa claims that Musumi is his sister and warns him not to take it personally. Everyone prepares to fight Ichiro, but they realize that he's already in the room, saying he destroyed Shinzo's traps. Futaba warns him to back off, but he refuses, so she suddenly slams him into the ground, and everyone starts ganging up on him. But he's able to defend himself, and he uses his weapon to blow them away. He tells them to hand over Tai, threatening to destroy the house if they don't cooperate, but Futaba charges in, trying to close the distance, but she ends up being restrained. Shion tells the others to retreat as she prepares to fight, but Ichiro tells her she's no match for him. But she doesn't care, and she summons her drones, ordering them to fire. We cut to Tai as he worries about the others, but Musumi reminds him that they aren't allowed to kill family members, so everyone's going to be fine. She shows him a hiding spot, telling him to stay there, but she realizes he's worried, so she assures him that she isn't going anywhere. Ichiro defeats the drones and spots Musumi with Tai. He instructs her to give Tai a hug, but she suddenly attacks him, prompting Ichiro to use his wires to restrain her. Admitting he's impressed, he removes her mask, revealing Kengo disguised as Musumi. Realizing the real Musumi is disguised as Tai, he sees her watching them and understands she's in trouble. Musumi removes her mask and pleads with Ichiro to leave Tai alone as he isn't trying to harm her. Ichiro agrees, but insists she can't leave the house, claiming it's too dangerous outside. He vows to eliminate all threats around her, even allowing himself to be stabbed, showing his willingness to risk his life for her safety. Musumi is about to accept his condition when Tai suddenly appears, demanding Ichiro let her go. Ichiro refuses, telling Tai to stay away from their family. Tai recognizes that Ichiro, like him, fears losing what he holds dear, but disagrees with his methods, knowing Musumi suffers because of him. Tai then proposes to Musumi, reminding her of her promise never to leave him. She tosses him a ring, but as he reaches for it, Ichiro intervenes, vowing never to allow the marriage. Refusing to give up, Tai grabs the ring, recalling how Musumi always cared for him, and resolves not to let her suffer because of Ichiro. The siblings arrive and see Tai wearing the ring, promising to protect Musumi. They celebrate his determination, with Futaba urging Ichiro to train Tai so he can better protect Musumi. The next day, we see Tai waking up, but he notices Ichiro standing over him with a knife. He barely dodges it, and Ichiro praises his reflexes, but Tai thinks he's trying to kill him again. But Ichiro explains that it's just a part of his training, saying that spies need to be aware even when they're sleeping. Ichiro says it's time for some exercise next, as he suddenly grabs Tai with his wires. We see Musumi preparing their lunches, but she suddenly hears Tai screaming, so she goes to check on him and finds Ichiro helping him stretch. Musumi starts to get angry, so Ichiro decides to stop. He checks the time and realizes they need to leave, so he suddenly grabs Musumi, and they jump out the window as the house suddenly blows up. Tai wonders what's going on, and Ichiro explains that someone rigged a bomb in the house. We see them in a car, and Ichiro receives a report from Shinzo saying the bomb was in the kitchen, so Musumi was the target. Tai wonders why someone would want to kill her, so Ichiro reveals that Musumi is the 10th head of their Yuzakura family. Ichiro goes on to explain that the Yuzakura family traces its lineage back to ninjas from the Edo period, with all their descendants possessing superhuman abilities. However, the family head is always an ordinary person who, despite lacking abilities themselves, carries the superhuman gene, ensuring their offspring will have powers. It is the family's duty to protect Musumi so the bloodline can continue. Ichiro emphasizes that while they care little for the bloodline, Everyone wants to protect Musumi as her siblings. He reveals that Musumi is destined to debut in the underworld as the leader of the Yuzakura family. Her current mission is to gain knowledge of the ordinary world, though this also exposes them to enemy threats. Suddenly, they are shot at from behind, causing Tai to panic. But Ichiro reassures him that the car is bulletproof. As the attackers fire bigger guns, the car deftly dodges the bullets. Ichiro, concerned about spilling his tea, tells the driver to drive more smoothly, and it is revealed that Goliath is behind the wheel. Tai is incredulous as the assailants launch rockets at them, but Goliath skillfully avoids the attacks. Ichiro, having spilled his tea, decides to handle the situation personally. He steps out and effortlessly blocks the bullets with his wires, slicing through the cars, chasing them. Returning to Tai and Musumi, Ichiro reminds Tai that he is now part of their family and must also protect Musumi. He plans to teach Tai everything about being a spy, preparing him for the challenges ahead. Ichiro gives him a gun and tells him his first mission is to protect Musumi from the assassins for the whole day. They arrive at school, and Musumi greets her classmates, but we see Tai following after her, and he does a sweep of the entire room, while the girls find him acting strange. The other boys greet Tai, but they are shocked when they see his face, wondering what's wrong with him. We cut back to the car, as Tai is shocked looking at the gun, but Ichiro tells him they can cover it up even if he kills someone. Musumi tells her brother to stop messing around, and Tai is glad to hear this, but she mentions the main threats are bombs and poison, so a gun isn't helpful. Ichiro tells him to look out for a bomber named Tamiya, saying his bombs are first-rate, and Ichiro has even used his services before, so Tai wonders why Tamiya would turn on him, but Ichiro notes that it's common for people in that line of work to easily switch sides. Ichiro reveals that Tamiya's one flaw is that he is addicted to social media, and he even posts about how his job is going. Ichiro tells them that there are hostages he needs to save, so he won't be with them, but warns Tai not to let his guard down, saying Tamiya has posted that there will be 2 more bombs, so he must protect Musumi at all costs until he gets back. Tai scans the room, trying to locate the bombs. He decides to follow Musumi, but Tamiya posts online that the second bomb is in place. Panic-stricken, Tai is hit by a ball. The other boys check on him, but he spots a figure through the window and rushes toward it. Reaching the infirmary, he hesitates at the door, only for the nurse to appear behind him, asking if he's okay. He quickly excuses himself, and the nurse smiles knowingly. Back in the classroom, Musumi chats with the girls while Tai checks his phone, seeing that the final bomb has been placed. He reflects on how Musumi has learned to protect herself, avoiding eating anything given to her and never staying alone. The boys apologize again for hitting him and offer him some chocolate. He eats it immediately, surprising them since he's usually so nervous around them. Suddenly, Tai feels sick, and they consider taking him to the infirmary, but remember, the nurse is away. Tai passes out and wakes up to see Musumi, who informs him that the infirmary is closed. Tai wonders if he's truly the right person for Musumi, reflecting on how little he knew about her despite their childhood friendship. He realizes that while she's constantly in danger, she's always been there for him. He regrets not considering her feelings when he decided to marry her. Just then, Musumi bonks him on the head, saying she was the one who chose him and thanks him for marrying her. Tai feels a surge of happiness, but suddenly notices a bomb on the ceiling. The bomb explodes, and the boys wonder about the sound, thinking it must be one of the science club's experiments. We see Nano and a woman admiring the explosion, and we see that she was actually Kengo. Tai and Musumi manage to survive, and Tai wonders how Tamiya could have set the bomb when they were just in a random room. But he remembers back to how the infirmary was closed, and this was the next best place for someone to rest. He realizes Musumi is being targeted through his movements, and he finds the third bomb on his body. He realizes that Tamiya announced his moves on purpose so that Tai would stay by Musumi's side, causing him to be the bomb that would kill her. There's only a few seconds left, and the door is blocked, so Tai jumps out of the building to get away from Musumi, but Ichiro suddenly catches him and disarms the bomb, congratulating Tai for completing his mission. Musumi wonders what he's going to do with the bomb, so he reveals he plans to return it to its owner. Nano and Kengo appear, along with Shinzo, and Musumi realizes they were all watching, but Kengo says they just wanted to see Tai on his first mission. Shinzo hands Tamiya over, who begs for mercy, but Ichiro throws him out the window just as his bomb detonates, and everyone marvels at the explosion. Ichiro is visibly annoyed when Tai arrives at their house, but Musumi reminds him that Tai's place was destroyed by the bomb and that they are married. Left with no choice, Ichiro tells Tai to watch his back. Later, Tai dreams of lying on the ground, helpless as a brute holds Musumi, who begs for his help while the man mocks him for being weak. He wakes up, shaken by the nightmare, and realizes he needs to get stronger. While lost in thought, he accidentally steps on Goliath, who angrily attacks him, causing Tai to scream. Musumi hears his cries and treats his wounds, revealing that she ordered Goliath to watch over him to keep Ichiro at bay. She assures Tai that Goliath would never harm the head of the family, but Tai remains fearful. Determined, Tai begs Futaba to train him, expressing his desire to protect Musumi. Futaba throws him around, warning him not to rush the process, stating that even a skilled fighter needs 3 years to improve, and bluntly tells him he has no talent. She calls him a fool, saying his emotions alone won't help him, but acknowledges his determination. She then offers him the chance to undergo their family's rigorous training, requiring him to live in the mansion for a month before his real training begins. Tai thanks her for the opportunity, but soon triggers a trap, nearly dying in the process. Futaba reveals that the mansion is filled with traps, explaining that surviving them is part of his training. She tells him that he'll never achieve his goal if he can't even get past the traps, making Tai realize the true danger and difficulty of his path. The next day, an alarm activates, but Tai stays on his bed, and the alarm suddenly explodes. So he struggles to leave his room, but he activates another trap, which almost burns him alive. Tai reaches the dining table, where Futaba reminds him that this is part of his training, but Musumi thinks it's too dangerous. Tai wonders how she can survive in the mansion, so she reveals that the traps don't activate for the members of the family. We learn that the house is controlled by a computer, which will recognize him as a family member after he clears all of the traps, but Shion thinks it will take 2 years for him to achieve this. But he suddenly feels weird, as Nana reveals that their food is laced with poison so that they can build up tolerance, but it's only enough to give him diarrhea. So he rushes to the toilet, but he realizes that he needs to get past a locked door, and Musumi is about to help him, but Futaba tells her to let him handle it. Haichiro approaches her, telling her she's gorgeous, but everyone ignores him, and they hear Tai screaming, so they decide to help him. Everyone else enjoys their daily lives, effortlessly navigating the mansion's traps, but Tai struggles to survive, turning his life into a living hell. In the classroom, Tai's classmates notice his terrible condition and worry about him, but when he insists he's fine, they leave him alone. The family has given him a ridiculously heavy shirt, making it difficult for him to move. One evening, Tai practices with a pistol, trying to hit the remote from a distance to turn on the TV. Musumi interrupts him, urging him to take a break and offers him tea, advising him not to push himself too hard. She knows he's doing this to protect her, and though he tries to deny it, she reassures him that he's not weak. In a flashback, we learn that Tai and Musumi used to be neighbors, but barely spoke to each other. In high school, Musumi was bullied because of her hair, and a group of girls threatened to cut it off. Tai intervened, cutting his own hair instead, shocking the girls into leaving. Thinking he was crazy, he told Musumi the guidance counselor had suggested it and promised to help her whenever she was in trouble. Back in the present, Musumi reminds Tai that he has always been there for her and that he shouldn't be so hard on himself. The next day, the alarm rings, but Tai stops it, and he manages to walk past the traps. He takes a pistol, and he's able to hit the power button, so Shinzo is impressed, but he explains that he still can't change the channel, so Shinzo gives him advice. Shion joins them, revealing that she has Tai's performance data, and she gives it to Shinzo. Tai thanks them for their help, but he wonders why Shinzo is always in a garbage can, so she explains that he's shy, but he tells Tai that she isn't so different. She reminds Tai that he needs Nano's help to deal with the poison gas, so he decides to find him. Shinzo thinks Tai has talent because he's making great progress, but she thinks there's another reason why he's doing so well. We see Kengo and Futaba walking around the mansion, and they see Nano crawling with Tai, telling him that the poison gas can't harm him as long as he stays low. Kengo is about to interrupt them, but Futaba stops him, telling him to stick to his task. Days later, Tai manages to avoid the traps and joins the others at the dining table, where he begins eating and tolerating the poison. Musumi is impressed by his progress, and Tai mentions that it has been 3 weeks since he started living in the mansion. Musumi hands him some milk, which he drinks, but he suddenly feels unwell and rushes to the toilet, unable to unlock the door. Musumi starts blaming herself for giving him the milk. As Kengo is about to open the door, they find Tai lying on the ground. Nano examines Tai and reveals that he has a fever due to fatigue and just needs rest, assuring that he can survive for another week. However, Futaba removes his fake skin, revealing his terrible condition, and fears he will die if he doesn't rest. She realizes that Tai has been collaborating with her siblings to survive, with Kengo providing the fake skin. She reprimands Nano for secretly treating Tai's wounds, but Tai defends him, explaining that he convinced the siblings to help him because he wants to protect Musumi. Futaba, calling him an idiot, hits Tai, telling him he can't achieve his goal if he doesn't take care of himself. She emphasizes that learning to survive is also part of his training and gives him a book on how to open locked doors, instructing him to study it until he recovers. As she leaves the room, Futaba admits she was wrong about Tai, recognizing his incredible willpower and realizing that his love for Musumi drives him. She now believes he will succeed. After some time, Tai finally manages to open the bathroom door, so everyone celebrates. He thanks them for their help, and his ring suddenly starts glowing as Futaba explains that the house has recognized him as a member of the family. She tells him he's doing a good job, but his real training is about to begin, and everyone's rooting for him, hoping for him to succeed. We see Musumi cooking for the family, and she adds a bit of poison as usual, but Tai suddenly asks about putting on a bra, which shocks her. He tries to explain that he was just practicing his disguises, but she doesn't listen. Kengo appears and offers to teach him, but just teases him instead. Shinzo wonders what they're doing, so Tai tears off Kengo's disguise. Shiru joins them, saying he's going on a mission, and he tries to kiss Musumi, but she just smacks him instead. We learn that Shinzo is also going on a mission, and Tai worries for him, but he mentions it's just a low-level mission where they need to retrieve the original plate for some counterfeit money. Tai can't believe that's considered an easy mission, and Shinzo hands him something before he leaves. We see Tai and Musumi walking to school, and a baseball suddenly comes flying at them. But Tai catches it without even looking, throwing it back with incredible speed, and the coach instantly asks him to join the team. During their lunch break, Musumi mentions how his training has made him more superhuman, telling him to be careful so he doesn't expose himself. After school, Musumi takes care of all the family paperwork. Tai marvels at her ability to handle everything, but she explains that she's used to it and it's her duty as the head. Suddenly, she notices something is missing and decides to visit Kengo. Tai is shocked by how messy Kengo's room is, and Musumi informs him that he forgot to attach the paperwork for his report. Kengo dismisses it as unimportant, and Tai suggests searching the room, but Kengo says there's no point since he didn't do it. He then appears naked, prompting Musumi to tell him to cover up, but Kengo reminds her of their childhood baths together. Musumi decides to punish him, but Kengo swiftly evades them. Tai tries to stop him, but Kengo disguises himself as Musumi, causing Tai to hesitate and allowing Kengo to escape. Musumi activates hibernation mode, and the house goes into lockdown. Meanwhile, Shinzo is seen crawling through a vent using X-ray glasses to scout ahead. He notes the security is tighter than expected As the director arrives at the facility, pleased with the progress, but seemingly under someone else's influence, Shinzo takes out 2 guards and retrieves the original plate, but the alarm sounds. Misumi and Tai search for Kengo, checking with the other siblings, but no one has seen him. They investigate Ichiro's room, which is filled with pictures of Misumi, and move on. Joined by the other 3 siblings, they realize Kengo had been disguised as them. They hear Kengo's laughter and see him in a painting, but he quickly escapes. Tai chases after him, but Kengo eludes him again as they turn the corner. Misumi wonders what happened, and Tai points to a tunnel. Misumi can't believe there's a secret passage she didn't know about, and she gets annoyed when Kengo gets away. Misumi lifts the lockdown, and they head back to Kengo's room to finish the paperwork. But Misumi suddenly handcuffs Tai and calls him Kengo. He wonders what's going on, so Misumi reveals she knew his goal was to get her to deactivate the lockdown, and she also notes how the real Tai always lets her pass through the doors first. So Kengo admits defeat, and he agrees to do his paperwork. We see Tai enjoying some curry when they suddenly get a call. It turns out to be Shinzo who's freaking out because there were more enemies than expected, and he used up all his weapons. So Misumi asks Tai to help. We see him with a package, and he sneaks into the facility, but a man gets behind him. He remembers his training with Shinzo, so he pushes back to disable the firing mechanism, and he manages to take out the man. There are more people that approach, and Tai can tell that there are 3 of them. He manages to take 2 of them out, but the third prepares to call for backup. We learn that Shinzo gave him a gun, so he decides to use it, and it shoots electricity, which destroys the radio. Tai makes it to Shinzo and instantly hugs him, saying he was terrified. He clutches his new gun, and though Tai thinks they should leave, they are suddenly discovered. However, Shinzo swiftly shifts into combat mode and disarms their foes. They rush out, with Shinzo effortlessly dealing with the guards. As they near the exit, a sniper shoots Tai in the leg. The sniper threatens to finish Tai off, demanding Shinzo drop his weapon. Seeing Tai bleeding, Shinzo complies. In a flashback, Misumi tells Tai he can give Shinzo anything as a weapon to make him feel comfortable. So Tai throws him a fork, which Shinzo uses to destroy the sniper's gun and take him down. They manage to escape and apologize to each other for the mishaps. Tai wonders if Shinzo is okay since he's out of bullets, but Shinzo believes he needs to get used to it to become stronger and protect the family as their big brother. The next evening, Tai is on the phone with Misumi, who invites him on a date. Suddenly, a car pulls up and a strange man appears, prompting Tai to hang up. The man introduces himself as Seiji, a police officer, and tells Tai he has questions for him. At the station, Seiji reveals a picture of Tai from his last mission, making Tai nervous. Seiji also has videos of Tai from recent events and accuses him of being responsible for everything, calling him a criminal and threatening arrest. Believing Tai is part of a secret organization, Seiji offers a lighter penalty if Tai betrays his comrades. Tai refuses, claiming ignorance. Seiji gives him water laced with truth serum, but Tai catches it with a balloon and continues to feign ignorance. Seiji suddenly attacks him, and he realizes that there are dead bodies in the room, as Seiji explains that he just got rid of a drug dealer, saying he isn't afraid to take the law into his own hands. He grabs onto Tai, threatening to kill him, but he sees a thread, realizing that Ichiro is involved, and he tells Seiji he doesn't know anything. Seiji is about to hit him, but he dodges, and the blow ends up shattering the wall. We see Ichiro listening in, and he mocks Seiji for his poor performance, so Tai demands an explanation. Ichiro reveals that Seiji is his friend, saying he's been covering up the family's activities in exchange for their help with his investigations. Ichiro asks him if Tai passed the test, so he explains that Tai didn't snitch, and he's looking forward to working with him. Seiji mentions that he has a big job for Ichiro, but he realizes it's time for his next mission, so he decides to head out. The next day, Tai is exhausted because he wasn't able to get enough sleep, so Misumi is worried about him. Ichiro enters the classroom, saying he's going to be the substitute teacher and he starts giving a lecture. Tai is about to doze off, but he senses a chalk approaching with ridiculous speed, and he dodges it just in time. We see that it left a hole in the wall, and Ichiro uses Morse code to communicate, telling Tai that he must learn to control his sleeping patterns. Ichiro mentions the dolphin, saying it doesn't fully sleep because it only deactivates a portion of its brain to get the rest it needs. He tells Tai that he needs to learn this skill, but Tai thinks it's impossible because humans need sleep to survive. Ichiro warns Tai that he will throw more chalk if he catches Tai sleeping, but Misumi intervenes, telling Ichiro to back off, thinking he just wants to torture Tai. Ichiro is thrilled that Misumi is speaking to him. Misumi tells Ichiro to stop making Tai's life miserable, but Tai assures her he can pass Ichiro's test. Suddenly, Ichiro reveals a pellet and crushes it, releasing sleeping gas into the room. Misumi puts on a gas mask, annoyed to see everyone else fall asleep. Ichiro sees Tai sleeping and throws multiple chalks at him, but Tai defends himself, surprising Misumi as she realizes he can move while asleep. Ichiro recognizes that Tai is half awake and throws even more chalk, but Tai dodges them all, impressing Ichiro, who continues throwing chalk until the class ends. That evening, it's revealed that Tai can no longer return to the half-awakened state, and everyone finds him creepy because they see him sleepwalking. The next day, we see Tai reading a manual on how to date like a spy, realizing he isn't spending enough time with Misumi, so he's afraid that their marriage could end in divorce. He's about to invite her to go out with him, but he suddenly receives a call, and CG tells him he has an urgent mission. Tai goes to an amusement park, and CG tells him to catch a dangerous couple, saying they're causing trouble with their guns, but CG doesn't know what they look like, so he advises Tai to be on the lookout for suspicious behavior, but he realizes he's surrounded by couples, so he realizes he's attracting too much attention because he's all alone. But Misumi suddenly approaches him, saying she knows about his mission and she plans to help him blend in. She mentions that there are suspicious people around them, and she explains that she can defend herself, so he doesn't have to worry about her. He notices a sweet couple, and they appear to be having a good time as the man compliments the girl's outfit. So Tai tries to copy him, telling Misumi that she can unleash high kicks with her outfit, but she just tells him it's easy to move around in, and he realizes that he's struggling to keep her entertained. They see a suspicious couple entering a roller coaster, so they decide to follow them, and everyone enjoys the ride, but Tai ends up falling asleep because it's nothing compared to his training. After the ride, Misumi and Tai continue to observe the couple, realizing they aren't as dangerous as they first appeared. They spot another couple who look like troublemakers, so Tai decides to follow them. As they enjoy the ride, the couple suddenly starts making out, and Tai realizes they're just a normal pair. Misumi notices another suspicious couple, and Tai decides to observe them as they enjoy coffee. He hears the man talking about a special item and reaches into his pocket, making Tai think he has a gun. Instead, the man pulls out a ring and proposes. Tai is frustrated at the lack of leads, holding onto a rose and thinking about making Misumi happy. However, he overhears the sweet couple arguing and can't believe it, as they seemed so close during the rides. Suddenly, they pull out guns, revealing themselves as his targets. Everyone panics as the couple starts shooting, and Tai takes cover. His rose gets shot, making him upset, so he retaliates with his electric bullets. The police arrive and arrest the couple, with CG thanking Tai for his help, praising him for a job well done. Ichiro learns about this and appears upset because Tai went on a date with Misumi. Later, Tai and Misumi are on the Ferris wheel. Misumi mentions they were able to enjoy all the attractions. Tai wonders why she didn't want to ride the Ferris wheel until the end. She explains that she wanted to enjoy the sunset with him. Tai gives her the rose, explaining it was damaged during the shootout, but he gives it to her to thank her for everything she has done for him. She accepts it, and they spend the rest of the day together. Back at the house, we see Shion exhausted as she finally completes her mission. She prepares to sleep, but a mysterious girl suddenly hacks her system. She fights back against the hacker, and we see her character running after a hedgehog, but the girl disconnects her computer, allowing her to get away. And when she turns it back on, we see she stole pictures of Tai. The next morning, Tai and Misumi run into Shion. They wonder why she looks so tired, so she mentions the hacker, thinking that it was strange that they only took pictures of Tai, which gives him a bad feeling. Tai and Misumi head to school, thinking about what the hacker was after, but they are suddenly stopped by some needles as we see the mysterious girl. Tai decides to run, but they can't get away, so he prepares to fight. The girl suddenly attacks him, but he manages to push her back. The girl declares her love for him, but also mentions she's trying to kill him, so Misumi recognizes her as Ayaka, the manhunter spy. Ayaka isn't fond of the nickname, but Misumi explains that she uses her spy techniques to follow men that she has fallen in love with and stabs them with her needles. Ayaka reveals that she fell in love with Tai after seeing a video of him on the dark web, but it also led to a certain company placing a bounty on him. Suddenly, she throws her needles into the air, revealing that others are also after Tai for the bounty. Ayaka, losing her composure, declares she wants Tai all to herself. Tai mentions that he's married to Misumi and can't afford to be killed. Ayaka cries, wishing she could kill Misumi immediately, but reveals she got permission from Ichiro to target Tai on the condition that she doesn't touch Misumi. Tai and Misumi are stunned by Ichiro's betrayal. Ayaka throws needles around them, but promises to see them again soon before leaving. At school, Ayaka is introduced as a new transfer student and is assigned the seat next to Tai. As she heads to her seat, she trips and throws a needle at him, but he manages to stop it. Tai goes about his normal day, continually avoiding Ayaka's assassination attempts. During lunch with Misumi, he dodges her attacks seamlessly. Growing desperate, Ayaka uses her needles on everyone else in the class, injecting them with a mind-controlling poison. She orders them to grab Tai, and they hold him down. As she prepares to finish him off, Misumi intervenes, telling Ayaka she has gone too far. At that moment, the earlier bounty hunter appears and shoots at Ayaka for revenge, but Misumi pushes her out of the way, and Tai fires his gun at the bounty hunter. Tai checks on Misumi, and Ayaka, confused, asks why Misumi saved her. Misumi explains that she's happy there's someone else who sees how great Tai is. Ayaka, seeing Misumi as an angel, falls in love with her. As they head home, we see Ayaka clinging to Misumi, and she now wants to kill Tai so she can have Misumi for herself. Tai isn't happy with this, but he suddenly gets a call from Shion. They meet with her in her room, and Misumi reveals Shion is always looking for people to play games with. Tai is confused, but Shion starts the game, revealing that they just need to defeat the enemies that appear. They start playing, and Shion mentions it's time for the boss. Tai is surprised it's so soon, and they fight against a train monster. Tai mashes his controller, and they manage to defeat the boss. At that moment on the news, there's a report about a runaway train that has suddenly come to a stop, and Shion reveals that she hacks into the systems of her targets and converts it into a game, which she must then clear to do her job. She notes that she can't always do it alone, revealing a helicopter that's about to crash into a power plant. They prepare to play the next game, and we see they need to defeat a dragon. Shion gives them a revival item just in case, and she starts fighting against the Ichiro monsters. Tai struggles against them, but he somehow activates God mode, and Shion yells at him for using cheats. The dragon closes in on the target, but Shion skillfully dodges its breath and takes it down with a combo. Tai is impressed, but the game isn't over yet when countless dragons suddenly appear, which turn out to be a swarm of drones. Shion thinks they are doomed, but Tai comes up with an idea. He uses a resurrection item to bring the dragon back, and together they set out to destroy the drones. A helicopter joins in, shooting down the drones, and Shion is impressed that it's working. However, some drones make it through, but Ayaka suddenly appears and takes them out, determined to take some pictures of Misumi. Tai and Shion finish off the remaining drones, finally completing their mission. Shion praises Tai's plan, but insists on playing more games with him. refusing to let him leave. And here comes today's movie. Please leave your comments in the comments section. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and see you again.